Good afternoon, fellow punters and loyal followers. Mickey D with you here for tips for Grand National Day. Just about 2:30 on Friday, just home, finished up now for 2 weeks. So we'll get some poker and some racing in and some GA matches. Maybe a few pints. Not a great day yesterday at all. The nearest we came to a winner was conflated. Needed another couple of 100 yards. Proved by the run that it's a good staying chaser. Probably should have went for the Gold Cup instead of the Ryanair. Good start to today. Balco Coastal was 12s earlier. It was third in the first race. And John Bon is after winning there a few minutes ago in a good tussle with La Fabiola. And the Little Rooster Gold Souk at Fontwell, the second horse that has been doubly tipped since I started about 5 weeks ago, that has won. It's a staying horse, as I said before. It was always going to get there, even though it looked under a bit of pressure on the turn for home. I missed out, I forgot to say it yesterday evening, I hope some of you might have spotted it, that it should have been the third horse, not the second, because Legends Ride, that won for us before, won the 130, and I've had it wrote down on another bit of paper yesterday to stick it in those two at Fontwell. So hopefully somebody might have spotted it. Anyway, great start to the day, so we'll see how it goes. I'll rattle on now because I want to get this. It's taking a couple hours each day to when I put it into the upload oven. So I want to get it done because I have to go to the county town. The bus was out early this morning. All the usuals was on it. Some slightly hungover. I had to put in a couple of kegs. There was 2 drank yesterday, so we only had 1. So we had 2 spare ones there, and they were nice and chilled. Joey Leone was on early. Patrick Hickey landed singing Listoon Verna. Oh, Listoon Verna. Tony Murray agreed with me that the less kegs after Aintree, the better. John Collin. John Davitt, happy birthday. He's living in Chicago. He's a dub. Happy birthday, John. Merton O'Sullivan as well, and he must be staying a good while because he landed with 3 suitcases. Now, we only allowed 2 at times, but seeing that he had the racing post under his arm, we allowed him to board with the 3 cases. So, the golf as well is just after starting. DJ had a good 300 yesterday. He's only a shot back now because the leader, that Im, has dropped a shot, I see. And Speed was 2 over, and the debutant Burns was 3 over. So I have something to look forward to the weekend. On to tomorrow. The 145 is 3 miles handicap hurl. 22 declared is a grade 3. 3 favourites in the last 10 years have won, but they were 6 to 1, 7 to 1 and 8 to 1. So they were big price favourites. 8 out of the last 10 winners carried 11 stone or more. Winter Fog is the favourite and is carrying 11 stone 3. It's the third run for Emmett Mullins after being shrewdly bought by a shrewd owner there, Paul Byrne. It was 4th in the Pertemps. He's up a pound, I think, for that. But he was second first time out for them in Leopardstown when he was gambled on from 22s into 8s. I always love a horse that goes 3 runs. The third run for a new stable, or the third run after a layoff. So it's a 5 or 6 to 1 shot. It may be classy enough, but it's a solid each way bet. The 225 is a grade 1 novices hurl, 2 miles 4. 6 favourites in the last 10 years. And 10 out of the last 11 were either a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. It was a 4-year-old before that. The 3-Stripe Life is the favourite. It was second in the Ballymore to Sir Gerhard, and it was previously second to Sir Gerhard as well. Elliott's Yard for him is worrying. In the last 20 days, 1 winner out of 58 runners. Now, he has 18 places, all right. But I'm going to go and walking on air. Royally bred out of Refinement, who used to be owned by John Magnier, and ran in the Cheltenham Bumper. And Walk in the Park is the sire. it was seriously impressive, I thought, in November or in Newbury in January. And it looks like it has been saved for this. And Henderson is going well. So he's my choice. He's second favourite. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's money for him. He might actually go off favourite. I think it's 9-4, 7-2, what I was looking at earlier. The 3 o'clock is a novice chase, grade 1. It was won by Shishkin last year at 1-8. He had won the Arkle before winning this. And the same should apply to Edwardstone to win. He's a 4-6 shot. He's the classiest. He's a 8-year-old. He's a great jumper. He was very lucky that he wasn't brought down and when one fell on him in the Arkle. Anyone maybe doing a straight forecast, I thought maybe third time lucky. Flat track might suit him better. And may come second instead of Gentleman to me. The 3:35 is the Liverpool Hurl grade 1. 3 miles, 149 yards. It was won last year by Thyme Hill. And he hadn't run from December because he missed Cheltenham last year. This year he has ran in Cheltenham and he was second to Flooring Porter in Cheltenham. Flooring Porter, I backed him in Cheltenham and I just don't know about Aintree on National Day. He could get very worked up because he's a buzzy sort of a horse. I'm doing a reverse forecast with the two of them, and as a win bet, I'm going to back Thyme Hill. I thought he was very impressive last year. He seems to suit Aintree more so than Cheltenham. I know I should be saying back Flooring Porter, but that's the hunch I have anyway, so I'm going to do that. But I'm going to do the reverse forecast. 4:15 is the Betway Chase Grade 3 Handicap. It was won by Happy Go Lucky last year. It was a great winner for me. Espoir De Romay is top weight, and he was unlucky to fall last year in the Grade 1 that Chantry House won. I thought he had the race sewed up when he fell at the last. He was a bit disappointed last time in Kelso, but he seemed to get run out of steam. And then when he got a second wind, he ran on, and I thought it would put him right for this. He was 16s yesterday. He was 12s early this morning because I had a bet on him yesterday, 16-1 each way. If you get double digit odds, I think he's a good each way bet. Kim Bailey is going well out of the last 21 days. He has 22 runners, 5 wins and 11 or 10 places. And although he's carrying top weight, Kildysert 2 years ago carried 2 years ago. I always say they don't put top weight on an ass. So an each way play on Espoir De Romay. The 6:20, I'm skipping the national for a minute. The 6:20 is a grade 2 bumper, one favourite since 2008. That was Mike Fabulous, 2-1 favourite in 2019. I thought Ernest Gray for Alan King. He was very impressive in Warwick. He was pint-to-pint winner for Colin Bowe, and he was bought for, I think, to the 105k. He's out to walk on the park. I like that sire. And Emily Gray, she was a decent one as well. Mullins has 2 in it. One that was a bit of money for the first time it ran for the stable in Cheltenham in the bumper. I can't pronounce the name, to the long bird. You'd see this in the Richie colours. But that was his first run, and he done terrible, I thought. And I don't back anything second time run like that after a layoff. His other one, possibly, but I'm back at this one each way to 6-1 earlier. That is Ernest Gray, which leads us on to the Aintree Grand National at 5:15. 40 declared runners, 4 miles 2. The Aussies are always saying that the Melbourne Cup stops the nation. The Yanks always says about the Run for the Roses in Churchill Downs, the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby. But England and Ireland always have the Aintree Grand National, and from even people when they depart the shores of either country, they still maintain a great interest and always like to have a bet in it. I lived in America for a good few years, and it was always the case that you'd have a bet on the national. Well, even before modern technology came out, you'd have to make the phone call tirelessly how did it go, because you couldn't listen to it. That's a good few years ago. But it's always a great race, and it always tells its own story. I remember as a young lad in front of the television, the old black and white television that time as well, And I get a great laugh every year when the English starter would say, "Get your nose off the tape, number 11, get your nose off the tape." And you'd swear that the horse would understand it, like. And this was pre-COVID. I'd say if that starter was around now, he'd have some sort of a nose bag on the horse. But it was a great laugh every year. And then you see all the jockeys lining up across the track. Some were taking the brave route going inside, and some wanted the free run on the outside down to Beecher's first time. You have all those great names of the fences. You have the Canal Turn, you have the Chair, Beecher's Brook, Fine Avon, then you're crossing the Melling Road, and then finally you have the Elbow. Great camera angle too, looking down the track from the last up, and you're looking back to see, can you see your colours, because you can't see a number on a saddle cloth. But one thing about the Grand National always is everybody knows the name of their horse. They don't know the number because they can't see it, and they can't see the colours either. Most families down through the years would have watched it together, and when they'd be crossing the Melling Road on the second time, and the next thing there's something closing, and someone will say, "Who's that? What's that horse coming?" And then the name would be mentioned, and probably the youngest in the house would say, "That's my horse," and you'd look and say, "How did you pick that?" sort of. But everyone has a reason or a motive for picking a horse in the Grand National. It's a great race altogether. So what story will it tell this year? Tiger Roll at 4-1 favourite in 2019 has been the shortest priced winner that I look back since the early 90s. Earth Summit was 7-1 favourite in 1998. Hedge Hunter was 7-1 favourite in 2005, and Comply or Die in 2008. Manila Times won it last year for Rachel Blackmore. It's £12 higher this year. It's carrying top weight. Either an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old has won this in the last 6 runnings, I think. But if you go back a few years, it was an 11-year-old a few times and 10-year-olds and that. And it's more compact now. There's no one running out of the handicap like there was years ago. Anyone that knows me and listened to me the last few months and since last year, I'm on about Annie Second now. I thought it was the moral winner last year, but bookies don't pay out on moral winners. So I backed him at 20s, 16s and 12s each way. So if he's in the money, I'll be pulling a few pound. I gave him out on the channel there a few weeks ago when he was 16s and 12-1. I think it's 9-1 now. The gamble of the race is Snow Leopardess. It's got 8-1 favourite. The interesting horse for me that just snuck in at the bottom of the weights there is Fortescue for Henry Daly. It's an out-and-out stayer, and it was 40-1 yesterday. I had a few pound on it, and it's into 28s. But in its last run, it beat Fiddler on the Roof, who's 16-1 shot. So it's grand racing weight. What do you call him? Harry Nugent is on him. Now, I don't know about him, how many rides he has on the National. I hadn't time to research that last night. But if you look at, he beat Fiddler on the Roof the last time, and then he was third to Royal Piguy before that, and he was beaten less than 4 lengths. He has 6 chase wins out of 14. I think it's a cracking each way bet, but you have to have luck and running, when you're going in Aintree. I always back 3. I sort of one at the top of the market, middle of the market, and down near the bottom. I was on Back of the Flow last year at 100-1. It was second. Annie Second now was third for me. I can't remember what I backed. The other one fell. But my third pick this year is another 100-1 shot. Lord Mesnil. For anyone having 50 pence each way or a pound each way, small money. It's a reliable sort of a jumper. Now, you will see P&P in his last 5 runs, but they were all, both of them were on heavy ground. He's likes top of the ground. Usually fairly reliable jumper. Richard Hobson trains that. Cocoa Beach as well. Anyone looking for a grey horse, Shane Flanagan is riding, but it's 7-year-old. It's one paced, but it can run on well. It was Longhouse Poet as well. Sean Moran's horse, Good Roscama Man. That won the Thyestes of 145 and up £9. It has run over a chase since then, but it has a spin over hurls. Now, Brazil knows the time of day. He won it with number 6 Valverde before. So he's, I think, about 16-1. So people will be having a punt on him. But my 3 is the Annie Second now, Fortescue, and Lord of Mesnil, the real outsider of the lot. So hopefully that you'll enjoy the race. It's always a great spectacle. And tomorrow it's 5:15. I cannot understand it's gone so late. One time it used to be 3 o'clock, then it was 4:15, 4:15, now it's 5:15. The next thing they'll have it when it's dark. They're all thinking of televisions, but they should think of the punchers and the horsemen and everything like that as well. Have it earlier. Anyway, that's the crack. Best of luck. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the new subscriptions in the last few days. We're gone over 800. I'm happy enough with that, but we need to get to 1,000. So our Irish Grand National is next Monday week, so let's try and get to 1,000 before then. Thanks very much, and I love the comments. It's great altogether, and hopefully there'll be a couple of more winners during the day, or a couple of places at least anyway. Mickey D, over and out. Bash those bookies.